Hi everyone, we are there on the final day of the Intertraffic and I've got the best for the last. I've got here with me Boy from Vitronic, Shamsuddin from Vitronic and Venkat from IBI Arcadis. So a quick round of introduction, self-introduction. Boy, tell me about yourself, tell me about Vitronic.
Hello, thank you for the invitation for this. I'm Boy Hendricks, I'm a sales manager in Vitronic and my markets are mainly some countries in Europe. I'm very active in Spain and Portugal, but also in my home country, Holland.
So how long you been here?
About 7 years.
Oh wow, fantastic. Shamsuddin, why don't you tell us a little bit about Vitronic and yourself?
Okay, so my name is Shamsuddin Özünal. I'm the head of sales for the European market. I'm working more than 15 years by and with Vitronic, and a couple words to Vitronic. Now Vitronic has a celebration for 40 years.
40 years?
40 years,
wow.
Yes. It's, we're starting with a small people, and now worldwide we have more than 1,300 employees.
Venkat, you're from India, right?
Thanks, Sachin.
Where is India?
Mera Bharat Mahan.
Where is India? I don't know. Yeah. Where is India?
India is everywhere these days.
Ah, that's a good one.
So I did my master's in transportation systems engineering, and since then I'm in the same domain, in the same field. I've been working initially starting with Tata Consultancy Services. Then I worked with Wilbur Smith, then joined GMR. And my largest stint was with GMR for almost 10 years, where most of my professional career has evolved there. And then post that with a short stint in a startup, and then now with IBI, and which is now part of Arcadis family.
Yes, yes. The big thing that's happening in India is the ATMS 2023, which is the new standard they have brought, and through that they are trying to combine the enforcement of traffic and enforcement of toll. So what the government now is doing, that after years of no enforcement on the highways, it's going for a combined system for traffic enforcement and toll enforcement, and that is going to be one of the things that we will talk about. So Boy, can we share some of your experiences on this combined approach and on a software defined road?
I think that enforcement and tolling are basically two different domains, and it's good in terms of technology to combine it, because the road infrastructure is very similar. At the same time, you know, the purpose for tolling is to repay investments on roads, and people feel that that's a fair way if the user pays for using the road. That's what we're also moving in Europe. You know, the trucks are paying more to the road.
Venkat, what is your take on that, on this approach?
It's a good idea, and it's a smart idea to actually bring multiple functionalities into very few, or I say limited number of technology elements. So, but I take clue, and I really appreciate the point that Boy is trying to bring in, is about, while one is about pay for use, other is for pay for not
following the rules,
non-compliance, right? So I agree. I think there are two.
It's a valid
ends.
challenge.
It's a two different ends, but I think we are not confusing with functionality with the technology.
Shamsuddin, do you see this as something similar to what's happening in the automobile industry?
Technology part, it's we can do it, or it's not. That's not the issue. The issue, what I see, is we have two different, how to say, end customers. So we have, please correct me also, Mr. Vengata, we have from the one side, we have, how to say, the police from the one side, the other, it could be like public operators, for example. And so this is what I see. And also from from the legal part, let me say in this word, if I'm looking from, how to say, with European eyes, we have also some legal issues with data protections and so on. Could be this an issue in India? Is because you track every car, you have every number plate, and could be this a legal issue and data protection issue? Here in Europe, yes, this could be a big issue. Yeah. My opinion of you. But from the technology part, it's possible. Very, very easy possible, no problem. But again, legal topics, data protection topics, and customer protection.
My insight of the government's drive towards free flow tolling, as an industry evangelist, I see a bigger mission, which is maybe not so visible right now. Maybe after the elections it will get more visible. Venkat, I think that the biggest problem that we are facing right now is of urban congestion, and our problem of urban congestion will only multiply so much more, because the population in the urban is right now maybe 25%, but it's going to grow from 25 to 55%. And the government really needs to build express highways within cities. There were only 2 highways that were built like kind of touching the city, the Delhi-Gurgaon Expressway and the D&D. Both had gated tolls and both eventually had to be finished. So my thought process is that the entire multi-lane free flow tolling and the GNSS tolling is going to move us in the direction of urban tolling. What is your thought on that, Venkat?
Yeah, I think it's a classic problem even the West have actually gone through in terms of the choice between the economic growth and sustainability. It's definitely a challenge that all the growing economies face, and especially the major problem, I agree with you, is with reference to the urbanization brings in bigger challenges.
Yes.
But my take on this would be to actually balance the mobility needs with the economic growth and sustainability. It's a fair balance that need to be done.
Boy, share with us about urban tolling, your experiences. It's my audience has never heard anything about urban tolling, so I'm very, very excited to hear something about that.
We are working on solutions on restricted areas, low emission zones, parking policies, but we have a gradual growth, so we can manage or moderate what's happening. But if I see what's happening in your region, you build a tunnel and the day after you need a new tunnel, and it's still a process where you're very quick. But we in Europe, we are now building a tunnel between Germany and Denmark. That's a process which takes 20 years.
I think it's right.
Have you had any experience on urban tolling in anywhere in the world? City tolling.
City tolling.
Yes.
I think in general, that in Europe, every city over 100,000 inhabitants should have restricted access to the city.
Okay.
And restricted access always start with cars which are most polluting, diesel cars.
That's also urban tolling. It's another form of urban tolling. Yes.
But that is now a European regulation.
Yeah.
And well, there are not a lot of cities of 10 million, but there are a lot of cities of 100,000 plus, and they all need to install ANPR systems or vignette systems or RFID systems. So that's work for the next 20 years. So it's really, and of course and we do that in Amsterdam, for example, and we've started with very low requirements. So nearly everybody.
So you're doing that in Amsterdam?
Yes.
Can you share what has been the learning, what has been the experience?
Well,
and something about the system that is implemented?
So the number of cars which are polluting, it's very difficult to get in. In London, it's impossible to get in with a polluting van. So if you want to repair something with a simple diesel car from 1990s, you can't get in because it's too expensive. In 3 years' times, we will start with only having areas in Amsterdam where only electric cars are allowed. So,
wow.
So that's a way of, it's not generating revenue, but it's creating a better living environment for the people in the cities, and that will go on for. There's a milestone 2030 and 2035, and by 2035 there will not be combustion engine cars in the cities anymore. We will have only parking spaces outside, and you will just, because it's supported by both the governments and the public, because everybody wins if the environment, the living environment. And you see that, for example, in Barcelona, the way of living has improved a lot. People are much more outside, it's much nicer, and you need to have more cafes and more bars in Barcelona anyway, because everybody goes there. So it's the way forward.
Right. I think while government also needs to prioritize their investments in creating multiple infrastructures to balance the needs of the mobility needs of the people, and then get into this urban tolling as well, because you, like we discussed,
So the public infrastructure is more important than the urban tolling.
You need to create that choice to people who cannot pay, who cannot afford to pay the toll, and still they need to move for their job, and you can't force them to pay for it unless you have a choice given to them. Right? So it's
But
important.
the metro network is getting more and more active, so that's happening in parallel.
Absolutely. Not just the metro. What I'm saying is make it convenient, accessibility also convenient to people.
Gentlemen, it
Thank you
was
very much,
indeed a pleasure to have such a powerful think tank, and as they say, save the best for the last. We had that today. It was really marvelous discussion. You know, these discussions that people have on those dioceses, they get very boring, but here we have the chance to edit and just bring out the essence to the people.
Yes.
You know, when I go to those talks,
That's your task.
That's
Make something nice of it.
yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And look forward to having series 2 with you sometime.